Hello everyone, I'm Ashish and my topic is why is there an economic slowdown in the country even before COVID? On July 23, 1991, India launched a process of economic reforms in response to a fiscal and balance of payment crisis. The reforms were historical and were going to change the very face and nature of the economy in the coming times. It was completed via three processes, namely liberalization, privatization, globalization, uh, and popularly known as LPG reforms. These three reforms specially specify the characteristics of the reform process in India initiated. Precisely seen, the liberalization shows the direction of reform, privatization shows the path of reform, and globalization shows the ultimate goal of the reform. India was rising in the global economy a decade ago with annual growth rate of 8 to 9%. Along with China, India was one of the fastest growing economies. This economic boom was associated with sharp increase in investment rate, peaking at 38% of GDP in 2007 and 2008. Foreign capital inflows were unprecedented and were at close to 10% of GDP. The boom was slowed down by a global financial crisis in 2008. The collapse of India's growth momentum is shocking to many because until March 2017, India was the fastest growing economy in the world. But this growth appears to have gone as shortly as it was achieved after economy lost its way towards the end of financial years 2012 and 2013. Indian economy is facing both structural challenges, that is, more long-term issues related to overall framework of the economy, such as the flexibility or inflexibility of labor laws, etc., and cyclical challenges, that is, more short-term issues such as bad monsoon that disrupts the production of food articles, etc. Since the causes are both the structural and cyclical, arresting this economic slowdown is proving to be difficult. Indian economy was facing a twin balance sheet problem. The two balance sheets are Indian banks and the corporate sector. High proportion of NPS are present in the banks, and corporates are clogged because of overborrowing and are unable to pay. The starting point of India's TBS can be traced back to the boom that happened between 2005 and 2009. In this period, the economy was growing in double digits, mainly because of the heavy borrowings by companies, hoping that they can make profits in future. Even the banks did not have stricter norms in that period and lent a lot of money to the companies, hoping that it boosts economic growth. So after the global financial crisis, economy went downwards and projects of the most of the companies become unviable. So the companies were left with huge loans which they could not pay back, and banks were left with large NPS. This whole crisis led to a situation where neither the companies are in a position to invest nor the banks to lend. Lastly, India's growth was boosted by due to lending spree by NBFCs like IL and FS uh, and DHFL. NBFCs took over the leading role of lending to economy since banks were still struggling with NPS and were largely unwilling to lend directly to businesses. Now the question is, what derailed the economy after it has regained momentum in 2016 and 2017? It can be attributed to two reasons. One, the unresolved TBS crisis, and two, the fall of NBFCs and the real estate sector. Together, they make a four balance sheet problem. The slowdown was triggered by the collapse of ILNFS in September 2018. Most of the NBFC lending was given to one sector, that is real estate. The builders in the real estate launched numerous projects since the start of mid 2000s in the hope that these flats would be sold out. But after the global financial crisis, the demand for flats as well as bank funding for the builders collapsed. This meant that the real estate sector was unable to pay back NBFCs, which resulted in defaulting of NBFCs. The way out of the slowdown now could possibly be by stepping up a public infrastructure investment as the real interest rate is low. Public investment in such a situation would help crowd in or bring in complementary private investment in such to create demand for the private sector to turn the economy around. Similarly, a substantial boost to the National Employment Guarantee Scheme and bank credit in rural economy would also help mitigate the agrarian distress, and it also helps to create jobs and adds to more public works. Thank you.